Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
I will love you anyway, even if you cannot stay. I think you are the one for me. Here is where you ought to be. I just want to satisfy, 'cause though you're mine, I can't deny you. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now, or I'll go crazy.
Whoa, sweet thing.
Doom, doom.
Don't you know you're my everything? Whoa, sweet thing. Don't you know you're my everything? Yes, you are. I wish you were my lover, but you act so undercover. To love you, child, my whole life long, or be right or be wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa, ha 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 ha. Whoa, ha 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 ha.
whoa, ha, whoa, ha. Whoa, ha,
Whoa, ha, 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 ha.
whoa, ha,
Whoa, ha.
whoa, ha, whoa, ha, whoa, ha, whoa, ha.
Whoa, ha, ha. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Jade and XD, the blackest show about nothing. I am XD, aka the Chuck D of homosexuality, aka homo without a pause, aka the gay effie white, cause what?
Nigga, we all got pain.
Aka Magnificent, aka Hoisha. It is starting a new day is starting, it's me, aka your auntie's favorite auntie, aka Mr. Swing Low, no chariot, aka the black gay Maud, Lady Godiva was a freedom rider, aka Dank Mitchell, because I stay on Saturn, aka the gay Mary Poppins, because I'm practically perfect in every way, aka Homa la Flor, Tanta Amor, aka Eola Fagzant, penis, aka Barbara Streisand. People who need people, aka 19%, because everybody should have at least 19% of me, aka the male Donnie McClurkin, catch it, aka I'm every woman, it's all in me, aka Shirley the drag queen, aka Star because I bring me, aka Oil Tycoon True Paul Charles, and aka Bread Quanda because if I can't reach the base,
Get that dick out my face.
and I'm here with
I'm Jade,
Yeah.
a.k.a. the Mary Jane Mami, a.k.a. Jade de todas Jades, a.k.a. la señorita problemática favorita, a.k.a. Jersula, keep singing, a.k.a. the princess of Pan-Africanism, a.k.a. Griselda Negra, a.k.a. Kathy Bakes, a.k.a. the big mama of Brewster Place, a.k.a. negative 19% because nobody needs any of me, aka the Black Mrs. Frizzle, aka Noah's former landlord, aka Carnitas Bay, aka Jadeficent, aka the Doobie Sister, aka one of Masterpiece 2 with 3 hoochies, aka DL Hughley, drag mother extraordinaire, aka Sardine Sargento, aka Anchovy Davenport, formerly Anchovy Davenport, now Anchovy Halibut, aka Jade. Huh. What is she good for?
absolutely nothing.
Hello.
And welcome back to another episode here exclusively on Spotify.
I was about to say
Oh.
something else.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the apartment above me. I don't know if they're having like Are you ready for some football or something?
Oh, is that a
But
well, nigga, you hear
Oh,
my
no.
heat, so here we are.
yeah, I don't know what's going on. They've been going through it, and they're like heavy footed. You know, like, so I know their apartment smell like grits. So it's like I don't. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
Why
I don't
your
know. They
apartment smell like just like chicken juice?
Yeah, I don't know, dog. But yeah, how are you? How are things? How is the last 7 days?
Busy, and today was a very long day.
Yeah,
What do you say? A long what?
yeah, long periodically time.
But it's been good. No complaints. Working on a lot of new projects that are coming out, and I'm really excited about them. So I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? For everything to come out and about. But I just been working. Cocktails in La Casa is coming by. Is bike. You know what I'm saying? So we're working. You know, I gotta get you all content in all different ways. So even if something is not an every Friday thing, just know you got more stuff coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your last
That's
7
litty.
days, friend?
I got a soda stream.
Yes, you did. You are hype
Yeah.
about it.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. It's my new favorite thing.
What are you doing with it? Like, tell me about the flavors.
Well, darling,
The coats.
you know, I did buy some Torlini's peach syrup and vanilla syrup, and I bought some elderflower.
Oh, you know, Mama loves
syrup.
elderflower.
Right. So I'll just do like maybe a hint of, you know, a little essence of each.
Yes.
Not too much because I still want to keep it healthy, you know, on the healthy side.
Yes.
But honestly, I've just been putting like a squeeze of lime juice in some heavily carbonated water that I carbonated myself, and it's been a blast.
Yes.
You feel me?
I'm very happy for you.
Yeah. I also shout out to the listener that bought my computer. Oh yes, we are still selling equipment, BT Dubs. We'll reach out to those folks who emailed us.
Yes.
Shout out to the listener. She bought the computer. It's great. What else happened this week? You know, life. You know, we're gearing up for an election that's more than
Poor
likely
ghetto.
rigged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, what do you do? But you know, I've been really thinking about like, you know, life after, right? So you know, I've been trying to, you know, there's always been talk of like, even in the first election, like, well, I'm going to Canada and I'm going here and there and everywhere, and then I was like, you know, maybe we, you know, shit does suck, but maybe we don't have it that bad because, you know, there are people in this world.
It could be worse. It could.
There are people in this world who has had their home countries renamed twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Those that cease to exist.
Right. Like, I was born in, you know, like the USSR. The what? Oh, it no longer exists.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Like
dead
that.
ass stuff.
You know what I mean? Or like people who live in like, before, what was, Yugoslavia, because that's not anymore, right? Because it's moved to Slovenia and Moldova. You know what I mean? Like,
they renaming stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, eradicating and all of those things, and so
yeah, like yes, there are injustices here, but you know, things could be worse.
truly.
And even if that person gets reelected, which I'm going to assume they will be, and if they don't, they're going to go down with it. They're not going down without a fight. You know, it's still, you know, we could still buy toothbrushes at Lucky's. You know what I mean? Like,
Listen, there's definitely privilege, okay?
Yeah,
we just
shit
have
sucks,
to acknowledge how
don't
ghetto
suck
it
that
is.
bad.
I'm not going to act like we live in the greatest place known to man the way some people do. But I will fully acknowledge our privilege and say, it could absolutely be worse. So,
absolutely.
you know, but honestly, you know, I feel a way about the government, and if things go the way that I anticipate them to, it will just confirm all of what I believe about these people doing whatever they want. However, do what you can to contribute to the good. Okay.
Yes. So, we're not telling you who to vote for. We're just going to tell you to vote for the right person.
And vote for somebody who's actually on the goddamn bill, on the shit.
Yeah.
Don't vote for Jesus. Don't vote for what was the fucking monkey that everybody was real hype about for a minute?
Oh yeah.
Cujo. I don't remember what that nigga's name was.
Carol Baskin. Don't write her
all
in.
of that. Don't vote for them. Don't vote for sorry, no. Don't. Y'all not gonna get canned to me. Just vote for the one person on the thing who's capable.
Yeah.
Who's capable enough.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Vote for the black woman on the ticket.
Bang!
She got a circle all by herself. She happens to share the box with somebody else, so you might as well circle that in too.
Yeah, no, you should, because I don't know if it'll be complete.
Correct.
But
so mainly vote for the black woman that's on the ticket. And in order to do so, you got to circle in the man that's above her.
That's it.
It's not an endorsement. We're just telling to vote for the black woman.
We're just telling you to do what's in your best interesante.
And usually go with black women. Like, I don't know why we
ever doubt. I mean, I don't. Well,
yeah. There's only one black person I just don't trust, and that's Tokyo Tony. Yeah, that is true. You know what's wild? Kris Jenner and Tokyo Tony share a grandchild.
Damn.
I know. It really makes you think. Yeah.
I never thought that I would ever understand where Kris Jenner was coming from until now.
Yeah.
She probably scrubs extra hard at night.
Yeah.
But is she picking up the baby though? Do they acknowledge the child?
I think Kris Jenner acknowledges all of her grandchildren. And I think she probably has to take care of Dream because, they don't really allow Rob to, do things. So, they keep him creeped up and, inside.
I can imagine she comes home talking big shit. She was like, oh, my God, and my granddaughter was in a Camry.
Right.
The abuse.
Right. They don't, but yeah, Tokyo Tony has only seen Dream once, and probably for good measure. You know what I mean? They're doing what's best what's in the best interest for the child. Yeah.
Yes. That child don't need to be around all of that carrying on. The grandma can't even take her nowhere because the car don't work. Sorry.
Exactly. Mama said, I have a car in my driveway parked because you deprogrammed it.
You cut it off.
Right. I was like, Mom, is it an RC toy? Like, what?
I was like, what the fuck kind of car is this?
Right.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Mama got her a car to go. Got her one of them smart cars that you only... Yeah. Some errands ass car. Like, what do you mean cut it off? That makes no fucking sense. Right. Like how your whip got a wrap it up box.
Oh shit, I mean? That is hilarious to me.
But yeah, they share a grandchild, and that puts a lot of things in perspective. I don't know what perspective that is. It just puts things into perspective.
Into one.
Yeah.
Into a.
Yeah, into a perspective. It'll fuck you up. But again, thank you all for crossing over to the Black and Green. We appreciate you for listening. Continue to listen here on Spotify because that's the only way you can find us. Tell a friend, because I know there's some folks lost. They're like, where's Jaden XC? I can't find him. I had seen that they ain't put out... Because, people be like, you only put out a show in weeks because we're on Spotify.
And if y'all are picking up what I'm putting down, okay? Picture the 1-800 collect commercials from back in the day. We had a baby Issa boy. Just pick up, just follow me, okay? If you're in another country, please use a VPN.
Yeah.
And tell your people how to do it. If you techie like that, help them out.
Yeah. Spotify is working diligently to, release to other countries. And, we, like we said before, it's like a government thing. So it's like, eesh.
Oh, and thank you to each of you who has explicitly let us know. I'm only on Spotify for y'all. We see you. We hear you. We thank you.
Yes. We do.
You have let us know. You scream it into these caps. And
yeah.
We recognize it. We are very grateful.
Right. Tell your mama to get on Spotify.
Right, your auntie, your cousins.
I do want to talk about Patreon. So there was a little snag in the, a little hitch in the giddy up this week with some technical difficulties with Patreon and stuff.
Oh, so, yes.
A lot of the tech stuff is not our fault. We ultimately post to YouTube privately, and then we link it through there. And the reason why we do that is because you guys who are on Patreon explicitly requested by the masses to have this played on YouTube, and I get why, because you're able to beam it into your other devices and things, which is great. I have no problem doing that. But sometimes, there's issues with YouTube. And so we'll try to post things on Vimeo, but if not, I, just try to take the link and we'll work it out. But just know that a lot of the tech stuff is not us.
Yeah,
it's literally Google.
Yeah, I had personal people hit me and say, "What's wrong with your show?" I said, "Girl, it's YouTube." I don't know.
Yeah. And YouTube has had issues a lot this year, which is really concerning. Because there's a hell of a lot of us who make money on YouTube, and it's like,
get it together.
Don't be fucking.
But we tested it out. It's out of our control. We reposted it for you all on the Vimeo side, so you could access it. XD and I ran through a test. I couldn't access it myself even, but I was able to access other videos. And then once he did the link joint thing that he commented on, then it worked. But when there's a technical difficulty like that, we'll try to give you an alternate post. But just know that it's just completely out of our control. It's the platform that it's posted through.
Right, and if we have the ability to post it someplace else, just give us a minute and we'll post it.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's not working. You gotta give me a couple hours, because most of the time I get those emails at 7 a.m. and I'm just waking up with the cold out my eye.
Perfect.
But either way, we thank you for subscribing anyway. We got some really good stuff on Patreon. And we'll continue to put more great stuff on there. You know what I mean? So, is that all?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, for the new people. XD said we got some new people here. We apologize in advance. And now that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, we apologize in advance because
this is who we are.
We're like almost the equivalent of like boiling Fabuloso in your house.
Yeah. Like, it smells nice, but it's toxic.
Yeah. We might be the reason your child can't speak at age 4.
Oh no. See? We have been affectionately described as the cousins who you always want to come to the family gathering. They somehow always go to take a walk. We
come back a little smoky.
Yeah, eyes a little shut. But that's who we are, and so we welcome you if this is a space for you, and if it's not, just move along swiftly. That's all we ask. Just swiftly and quietly. Just get the fuck out. But
next, we'll be back after these messages.
All right, bet. After these messages, we'll be right back.
This is the blackest show about nothing.
This is Jaden XD. I'm Jade.
And I'm XD.
The show is two best friends talking about anything and everything.
And sometimes we have awesome people on, like Crystal and Kid Fury from The Read.
When I was in high school, there was this girl in my computers class with me. I wish I could remember her name so I could apologize. But I just used to call her Atrocious, like, as, you know, a pet name because... Hey, Atrocious! Being someone who was constantly the butt of a joke or picked on or whatever, I just saw this opportunity to, like, make fun of somebody else, and I did it.
Somebody needs to do a study into silver teeth and the link between, like,
The
silver tooth to prison pipeline.
Yeah. Silver tooth to prison pipeline.
And New York Times bestselling author Michael Arsenault.
And Mama kept trying to interject at any moment that she could sing, and it was like, beloved, you're not even the best singer on stage. The girl from Destiny's Child is with the Platinum Soul album. It's like, not you.
And of course, there's us,
Jade
and XD.
You can listen to new podcast episodes every week on Fridays.
Listen to Jade and XD
for free on Spotify.
I want your love. I want it tonight. I'm taking your heart, so don't you fight. I'll be your answer. I'll be your whisper.
And we're back. So, who told Sharp Entertainment to make these shits 90 minutes long?
I didn't know it was gonna be every goddamn episode, nigga.
Yeah, and I feel like because we got like 3 more episodes. This is the 17th episode of this season, which means they have a hell of content. We still haven't even gotten to Corona.
I noticed that I was like, so when does the Corona content start?
Right.
I'm ready for the best.
Right. But if you don't know, we're talking about 90 Day Fiancé, specifically 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way. We cover it every week here. 90 minutes each, or 2 hours, I should say, with commercials. I think it's because they don't have Pillow Talk right now. I think they just moved up. But I looked at the thing without commercials. I meant an hour, 29 minutes. It better have mess, and boy, did it.
It did. So who would you like to begin with?
I know we can end with Fahu Doris and Baby Cool.
Okay.
Because they had the most
mess. You want to start with My So-Called Life?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So first of all, what?
That those papas. They pissed me off. Also, before we continue, I know it's a different show, but I forgot who commented on Patreon. This is why everybody needs to join Patreon, because there's a lawless over there. They called Chevelle Charles Barkley.
Oh my God! Oh.
$5 you can get. Boy.
You too can be a part.
Yeah.
It's the only place it's okay to want to be a part.
Yeah. I was like, I died. I said,
oh my God.
They were like, it's Quaylen and Charles.
Well, they're the ones to start calling her Shovel. It wasn't us.
But I also want to let you know that, again, off topic, but Shovel's name on Instagram is Yellow Girl 87. Now, if I recall...
No. No. Don't do it, Fred.
All I'm just saying...
No, amigo.
If I recall...
No es ni Cannon para mí.
I'm just going to say this, it's kind of like how you can relate.
I feel like this is about to be...
You can relate.
Okay.
You know how, like, there's girls who always think that their booty ain't big, but it's really big? Like, if you have a really big booty, why do you deny your booty so big? It's literally the same thing. Like, girl, why are you denying your dark... Like, you don't know body's light.
Mine's shrinking, though.
Okay. Work.
It doesn't matter. I just don't...
I just don't know why she's calling herself Yellow Bone when she's not. But anyway...
like light skin.
Again, this is just
But why is that your name though?
Which is so funny because I felt like light skin Keisha was in this episode. Because she looked like Brace's friend.
She did.
I was like, Tokyo Tony, oh yeah. I mean, not Tokyo Tony. Rico Nasty. Anywho, back to Dos Papas.
I just hate
novela.
the skin colored names. They just like...
Yeah.
It's like corny. It's like, I mean, like...
Chocolate Love 874.
I'm like, let's just, I don't know. Black Girl Running 87. I don't know something. I don't know what that is.
Black Girl Mad 85.
Right. Too close
That's
to
my new
Maka.
screen name.
I'm too close to Maka.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Dos Papas.
Dos
novela.
Papas. Yes.
So, and this pissed me off. This episode pissed me off with them. So, they done picked up Hannah.
And she's now in the when they do the little intro, where
she's sassy.
pose on them, Hannah.
I was like, okay, she got the foot up. She knows she been working around her gay daddies.
Hello.
Giving a sass and attitude. So Mama's in the car on some "Are we there yet?"
I was like, it across cultures, it don't change.
Kids and Xavier Delowe, who's 35 years old, well, I cannot stand the car that much. I will continue to ask, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Well, how long? How much further? Well, how fast are you going? So I could calculate how long it's going to take us to get to the next place. Because I hate long car trips.
Noted.
I hate... the last car trip I went on was with you.
Where?
When we went to Boston, and that was years ago.
Oh, you weren't so bad.
Yeah, because I was sedated.
Yeah.
But
you
even
did
still,
ride with us. I totally forgot about that.
But I was, high, and so no, I wasn't. I think I was just sleepy because Noah was in the car,
and my mother-in-law.
Yeah, she was.
Okay. Well, you weren't so bad then, but
yeah, I'm not really good in the car.
you probably also knew not to get on my nerves asking me every 5
Yeah. Well, because I knew where we were going, so I put in the GPS on my own phone, so I knew how much longer we had. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me.
Listen, a mantra.
Okay. So, however, Hannah starts asking questions like, well, Dad, how do you feel about living with Kenny?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, insight.
Produce your segment.
Right.
So he was like, I'm happy, I'm content, it's good. She was like, I'm excited that I get to be with you and Kenny. And the whole time Kenny is saying, well, what is she saying? What is she saying? What is she saying?
What's she saying?
And in the confessional during this time, he was like, I should have learned more Spanish, but I didn't.
He said, let me tell you what pissed me off.
And then they had a conversation. Oh, yeah.
Before that, he pissed me off because this nigga said, I thought I could just skate by, but I'm realizing I probably should have learned a little bit more Spanish. Just like a white man. You thought you was going to be able to go wherever you wanted in this world and just exist as a white man, and everybody around you was going to adapt. Anyway, go ahead.
No, it doesn't work that way. And then he says, I'm going to have to learn Spanish, or it's going to be easier for her to learn English.
Oh, my God. Also pissed me off.
When I tell you I saw red, I was like, how dare you?
How the fucking caucasity.
How fucking dare you? Like, what do you mean? Because it's easier for her to learn? No. I mean, yes, it is. But still,
It
like...
However,
no,
make an effort,
you
gringo.
need to make an effort.
Yeah, no, that's
you up here struggling with with Te Amo and shit. And I'm sure you only learned that from a fucking Gloria Estefan song, because I know she's of your time.
And you be saying it all hard, Te Amo. And that's all he
Yeah.
ever says to her, Te Amo. And that's why she be looking at him all exasperated. She be like, oh, I love you too, nigga. Because that's all he can goddamn say.
Yeah. Right. And it's so aggravating. And so she's never had her own room before. And because they lived, her and her daddy just lived in a room, you know, in the annex off of where the family lived.
Yeah.
And so they pull up to the house finally after 4-hour drive, and she's super excited, and she goes and sees the beautiful palatial space that they got.
Yes.
And she's like, I got my own room.
Mama got 2
Mind you,
beds.
Mama thought the couch was her bed, and they were like, no.
Oh, poor baby.
I was like, oh no, baby, no. Mama got 2 beds both with pink sheets. Mama
Okay,
said,
and cute little headboards.
She said, I need the bed that's closest to my toys.
That's it.
I said,
Mood.
Queen, Mama wants to be near her thing.
Yes.
She must be a Taurus child.
She acts like one.
Because Mama said, buy me ice cream and buy me toys and leave me alone. So that's me all day.
It was beautiful though, like seeing how happy she was, and she's got such a beautiful little like just energy about her, you know. Even her just asking her daddy out of the blue, like, so how do you feel about living with Kenny? I'm like, the insight. So she's really, really excited about having her own space, and Armando is really excited to be able to provide her with that. You know what I'm saying? And I can relate. Like, Tristan and I first had we was poor boots. Not poor, but you know, we was broke, and we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and you know, wasn't quite ready for a baby, but had one, and had to figure it out. So when we were able to give her first official, like, real room, he was all excited to get in there and paint and do all kinds of things, because you like providing those things for your children. So I understood, you know, where he was coming from, and like just that gleam you could see on his face, how happy he was to be able to provide her with those things. So
My beloved one, you know what I am. You don't see my face no more. I'm a provider, girl. I gotta face the streets tonight.
she's hype, and you know, Kenny's like, I want the best for her, and
Te amo, te amo, te
I
amo.
want her to look at me like a parent. She can't look at you like no goddamn parent if you don't learn some motherfucking Spanish, nigga.
And it's not a hard language to learn.
It's not. So like what's going on? But we have to remember he's 60. So like, still not an excuse because you've been with this man for 2 years. But I'm reminded.
Longer than that, they've been together for 4.
Oh, 4 years. You're right. So longer than that, though. You know, I've been thinking to myself, I'm like, aside from him just being a white man, because he said very white man things, a person of that age is going to be set in their ways by that time. You know, the man has raised 4 kids. He got to that a little bit later on. Well, we'll get to that. So, you know, they read a book to her, and they specifically choose a book about having 2 daddies, and they're just trying to get her acclimated and adjusted to life with 2 daddies.
I'm sorry, do you hear that?
Mm-mm.
God, that's loud.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
You got a
bringing
broom?
the noise, bringing in the funk on my fucking ceiling.
You got a broom?
I do.
Just tap the ceiling.
I will later.
Okay.
But like, what is going on?
Ghetto. So they read her that book, and you know, it's just a really lovely, loving moment. Fast forward to the next day, they want to take Hannah to the local market to go see what's going on about the town.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, when I tell you, I was just cheesing and laughing this whole time. She was like, why do unicorns have horns? Well, how come we don't?
Mama was asking the important question.
She was. And
she
of
was
course,
asking the hard-hitting question.
the gringo is sitting there the whole time. What is she saying? Are y'all talking shit?
I would have said yes.
I would have been like, big shit.
Yes, about you, how you ugly.
Your pale
mama's a
skin,
hoe.
how it gets burnt from the sun.
That's it. Like,
You can't tolerate spice. Just regular
your breath
shit.
stain. It's like just regular shit to get on his nerves.
Yeah. Your feet stink. All of that.
And so Mama just asked for some ice cream and a toy.
Yes. And bows and purses. She wanted a little baby Birkin.
Oh yeah, she
know what I'm
did.
saying?
She did.
She
She
wanted
wanted
the
some
world.
things,
Yeah.
but also, I mean, like
New.
she with daddy, and like, because kids know when parents got money. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say like kids always think like money doesn't grow on trees or money grows on trees or whatever. No, kids know. They have a feeling. Oh, I think mommy and daddy got some extra money this month. Let me go holler at them.
Yes.
And obviously, she could see, well, if they can move and shit, and they got this white man got money.
Right.
So this is where we learn that they have different parenting techniques. So, Hannah's like looking and stuff, and, and Kenny is like, well, I had 4 children. So I raised them all on my own. So it was kind of like a military kind of thing. Like, like he raised his kids like the fucking Von Trapps and shit. Mm-hmm. And Armando doesn't kind of operate that way. And I think his parenting style is operated out of guilt.
It is
a little bit.
He talked about it. It's a lot. It's a lot of it, actually. He's like, with her losing her mother and me being the only parent she has, I overcompensate by pretty much letting her do whatever she wants and getting her what she wants because she suffered such a great loss. And so, I feel guilty for that. And that's how I operate. And I was irritated with Mitch DeJour because I felt like he wanted to jump in so quickly. Whereas this is a situation, yes, first of all, you all should have spoken about this ahead of time. But you need to this is like your first official day as a family out in the town. Sit back and observe a little bit. Stop thinking you got to offer your 2 cents immediately. Like, take some time, get to know patterns and habits and personalities, and then you start to acclimate, get yourself into the groove. But while you can't even communicate with the child in her own tongue,
Right.
you need to take a step back for a second.
Right. That's all that happened to them, really.
Yeah, they got into a little tiff about their parenting. Like you say, he talked about being a drill sergeant. Armando talked about his guilt. But ultimately, they do communicate well. And they always seem, and very calmly. And they came to a resolve that, they would try to ease into things. And Mitchell was like, kind of let me have a relationship with her. And Armando's like, and while you're not working, learn Spanish.
Exactly. Like, come on.
And that was them. Who you want to do next?
Let's do... who was in this episode? We could do Devin and Jihoon.
Yeah, they're good to do next.
So, Devin's new nose, and Jihoon's new nose.
I was wondering what was happening. I thought it was me, maybe lighting, contouring, not sure.
Yeah, like, shout out to the listener who sent us that Jihoon got a new nose, but it's like, you could see it in this episode. Like, there's changes happening. Mm-hmm. Now him and Devin look alike. But he looked like a member of BTS.
And she looks like she is a white girl who loves living in Korea.
Yeah. Mm. So, remember last time they wanted to have a wedding because they didn't have a real traditional American wedding that Devin wanted, and Jihoon feels that Devin, who is his wife, is still his girlfriend.
Yes. I don't take you seriously.
Right. I don't even think Devin has a ring, and I don't think so because how would she?
because that nigga has had $13 for their entire relationship.
Yeah, collectively.
So she's going with him to work at the T-Mobile
Oh yeah,
store.
because she wanted to see where he worked. So he pulled up to the cell phone shop that's next to Nipsey Hussle's. And if you live in
Marathon
LA,
store.
you know the next to Marathon is that damn. There's a Cricket boost. It's a multi-service place for cell phones.
And if you remember, it was a humble lot before they did all the zhuzh to the store.
Yes.
It was a humble store.
Yes.
Day ones.
Yes. And so they pull up to the crib. They pull up to his trabajo, and she's like, "Well, introduce me, show me around." Now, that's what I realized. Oh, you are your mother.
Yeah, like
I was like, "Oh, you're just
the
as
boundaries.
batshit crazy."
Yeah, because I thought initially she just wanted to see his job. So
to
it's like
it's like
right,
legit.
Like, and on a day off, like, let me see where you work. I'm curious. Like, you know, I want to know where my husband works. Blah 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 blah. And I didn't realize it was like bring your wife to work day.
Yeah.
So the shop owner does his little confessional, and he's like, "It's not customary for a man to bring his wife to work. Like, I've never seen no shit like this before, but go off."
Right. He was like, "Why? I don't understand why she's here." And while she's there, she is making all sorts of changes to employment and schedules and scope of work. So June used to, well, first of all, she dropped dime on and told his manager,
"Bitch, what
that
the
he
fuck?"
used to steal stolen phones or lost. He used to steal phones, and so she tells his manager that, and he was like, "I never heard that."
Oh, did
And
he?
she's like, "Oh," and it's like, "Girl,
Bitch.
you have been so adamant about this nigga getting a job, and now you about to have him, get him fired because you can't shut the fuck up."
And then she makes it worse. Last week, I thought it was bad last week when she said, "Thank you for being a man." This week, this bitch says, "He used to sell stolen phones. He was a bad boy." And she just sitting there in the way all day.
Yeah, and it's like, girl, they speak Korean. They not slow.
Right. Like, he was a bad boy. And I would, if I were the shop owner, I would have been like, "Okay." Like,
Right. Okay.
bitch, stop shouting at me. So she's just in the way. She's literally pulled up to the counter with these niggas. Like, I was like, this is OD.
Right. Now, I will say the place that he works is a little weird. So it's like
I
you
chalked
could buy
it up that we
broken
don't know.
phones.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to be like this. And then she was like, "Why don't y'all fix the phones and sell them that way?" And they're like, "That's a great idea." And I'm like, I don't know what they do in Korea. Maybe there's a market for this. And she keeps trying to say, "There's no market for this." But it's like, you think an American mentality. You don't know what the market is in
you
Korea.
got to stop applying your mentality to wherever you're living. Like, it's not the same. When are these people going to understand that it's not the same? Because all of them have the same fucking problem. So, she's just not being helpful.
No.
She's a little bit, because she's like, "Well, why don't you go advance your tech skills and go learn to do blah, blah, blah." And then the shop owner's like, "That's a good idea. Why don't you do that?"
Right.
And G was like, "Bitch, if you don't shut the fuck up."
He was like, "Stay at home in the kitchen."
Oh my God.
I was like, "Oh." And then she was like, "Oh, I will if you go to work, nigga."
Like she said, get a reputable job, nigga. So they're going to have a real wedding. They're going to have a ceremony. She wants to have a traditional standard American wedding with, where we party and dance and cut cake and, daddy-daughter dance and all of those things. she wants to do that. So they're approaching the wedding venue, and his parents are there already. Now, apparently this wedding venue is very popular. They said they can have up to 6 weddings a day. And his parents booked it months and months ago in order for them to be able to have their ceremony there.
So, I don't... The thing is, it's like, she's trying to have an American wedding in Korea.
Right, right.
And they all keep looking at her like,
bitch, what?
What do you mean? Why is your wedding all damn day?
Right, and this is where this was literally just cultural, because there was nothing wrong with what she was asking.
No, there was nothing wrong with what she was asking, and the venue was actually nice. It was just, she only had an hour slot.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, nah, you walk with your daddy down there. Takes an hour.
It was literally like Vegas.
And these are the lockers for the brides and the grooms. And she's like, come again?
Yeah.
And this is where I say, okay, so have a wedding in America. And it's not like his family can't travel.
Right.
You know, and I think it's only fair for them to travel for her to be able to have a wedding that she wants, given she is moving over there to be with him. So I think that's a fair compromise.
Absolutely. I feel like they had a traditional Korean wedding there with all of his family, and they had Taeyoung's 100th day birthday
yeah,
thing.
They can compromise.
Right. Why can't she have something for her family in the States?
But it's like she doesn't even consider that as an option. She's just like,
no,
disappointed and sad, and it shows all over her face, because the lady at the wedding venue is looking like, okay, so what's going on? Because it's clear this bitch isn't happy. I'm showing her these dresses for her to rent. I'm showing we got everything set up for her. She don't have to do nothing. But that's not what she wants, and that's okay. These are just, both of them are okay because they're cultural, because you can see from Ji-hoon's parents' response. He was like, she wants us to like dance around and stuff. Yeah. And they start laughing. They was like, she wants us to do what now?
Yeah. They were like, what do you mean?
Dance around. And she's like, she's trying to explain, and they don't get it because it's just completely different traditions and cultures. Right. So I hope they're able to find some sort of compromise. I want to know who was with Drusilla.
Well, you know, she was at the kennel.
I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, did you see that video of her flinging that dog around by his feet?
Yeah. And then you hear the thud. I was like,
they all never go, be careful with the puppy. I'm like, oh my God.
The puppy is dead now.
And then she probably ate it after. Like,
yeah,
like what the fuck?
I know she did. I know Drusilla ate that dog.
You know she did.
Yeah. She needed to like continue like to feed her life force.
I'm gonna start calling her bad hair.
Who? Because she's just as much as a nightmare.
Child, isn't it? In many ways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever want to like mess up an opportunity, so I will just say in regards to bad hair that I am happy that everybody who was black got a check that was working
for certain. My main question was,
no.
No. It's okay. Not that one. I said my main. I didn't say my only. But my main question was, well, which one of y'all niggas said this had a deep message?
Yeah.
It's just black camp horror, which is fine if that's your thing. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But which one of y'all niggas? I'm so tired.
We don't have to have a message in everything.
We don't. It's okay. It's okay.
It's
all right.
Next, I feel like they're gonna try to like make a next Marlon Wayans film like deep and shit. It's gonna be like, no,
child, I don't want that. We already saw Kim. I already saw Kim. What's her face? Wayans do a serious role. She did it for everybody.
She did Pariah, and I hate that movie, but she did amazing at it. I don't hate Pariah.
I was like, Pariah wasn't a bad movie.
It wasn't a bad movie. Then maybe no, I'm confusing Pariah with something else that I hate. Yeah, Kim Wayans. Yeah, I didn't hate Pariah. I take that back. My
did
bad.
Really well in that role.
Right. She actually I hate the fact she didn't get nominated for an Oscar because Mama did that.
Kim Wayans did that role, honey. We'd never seen her in a role. Like, you want to talk about range?
She was right. She was like Mary Jones. She was like Monique in Precious. Like it was that kind of
meanness,
meanness,
but not.
I mean, she was just homophobic.
Yeah, she was very homophobic.
Yeah.
Who's next? You said you want to close with Fahu Dorson and so Janae.
Yeah, so let's do Janae and Samit.
Okay.
So they open up disgusting.
Oh, gross, nigga.
I was like, this is disgusting. This is nasty.
She was like, oh, Samit did what he needed to do, so I wanted to reward him. And I was like,
And he was like, yeah, she greeted me the way that I liked. And I said, oh, I'm going to throw up.
Imagine Jenny at the door and a bunch of saran wrap. Ugh.
Oh, God. Imagine. Like, she tried to be sexy for him.
No, I
she
don't
like 60. Well, she's like 63 and like a Fredericks of Hollywood Teddy.
And it's not even about the age. We're not being ageist. It's just Jenny.
Yeah, it's Jenny. That's the problem.
It's Jenny. So they're laying there and they're being gross or whatever. But then, she's all her nose is wide the fuck open. So Jenny Clayton gives Samit a box.
Yo, she is Joan. Oh my God, she is.
She gives this nigga a promise ring and says, "You're so lucky to have me forever." And Samit is sitting there looking at her like, bitch, what the fuck is this?
Okay.
So he's like, so no, I can't.
He was so confused. He was like, but I thought we were going to have like a ring ceremony and stuff. And he was like, I don't understand.
And she's like, but it's just like a promise for us to be together. He's like, yeah, we already have that. You can go ahead and take this back.
Right.
And then hold on to that until we have the actual ceremony, which is called a ring
ceremony.
Which is a ceremony to promise each other with rings that we gonna get married.
Yeah. Like, and she was mad because her gift wasn't received in the manner which she wanted, and he was just
Joan, she ran off.
Yeah, and he was just generally confused. Like, I don't understand why she would do that because we have a ceremony coming up, and with rings, I just don't.
He's like, yeah, that was dumb, girl. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, he's like, thank you.
So he does say, I have to check with my before we even have the ring ceremony, because then she's like, okay, so when's that gonna happen? He's like, okay, bust it, bitch. I have to make sure I'm even allowed to be engaged,
right?
While I'm going through divorce proceedings,
these divorce proceedings,
it's not finalized. Like, I have to make sure that's legal, so I don't get in more trouble than what I already am. And she's not really being that. She's just like, okay, I just want to know, and time is ticking. Again, nobody told your ass to move there. You the one jump started the clock.
Right. So we also learn that his ex-wife and family filed criminal charges against Samit.
They touched on it in the past where they said that the wife made accusations that Samit
was
abusive.
They said that last season.
Yeah, but he was Samit was in the kitchen in the chicken with the stir fry, making dinner and shit. I laughed when he said, "I'm making chicken, your favorite." I felt like that was low-key shade, but but he's in there and he's like, "So yeah, I got some bad news, girl. Those accusations that my wife made, they actually turned into charges. So I now have to go down to the courthouse and handle that. My homeboy, who's the attorney, said, don't sleep on this. So I got to go handle it ASAP. And I'm just hoping that she's going to withdraw the charges or whatever. But I'm going to fight him. And then he goes into his confessional and he's like, listen, I never touched my wife. Like, I never hurt her. He's like, I mean that. Like, he's like, as bad as things were between us, I never laid a finger on her.
And, I believed him.
I did too. I don't ever want to
discredit the victims.
Yeah, but I did. I believed him.
And the reason why I believed him is in the manner of which they attacked him and Jenny last season.
Yes, exactly.
And they showed up to her crib.
The fact that it seems to be more emphasis on the $500 than it seems to be on the alleged abuse. It's like,
oh, right, because Mama was asking for spousal support too.
Yes, $500 a month, and they're living off Jenny's Social Security. So,
which, pause.
Right.
How? Because if she becomes a Indian citizen,
she loses that. I think
she loses it.
But she's not a citizen yet.
I get that, but I'm like, if she's making Social Security, so she's only getting like 16. I don't know how much she's getting. Maybe 16, 17 a month.
Yeah,
maybe max. Maybe max 2,000.
Maybe max 2. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she gets like 25 or some shit. But regardless, they gotta live, and he don't have no money coming in.
Yeah.
So
the only checks they got is. Only checks they getting is TLC checks.
That's it. So, so the next day, he goes down. His homeboy picks him up and takes him down to the courthouse so that he can, face his in-laws and try to fight the charges. I didn't realize how quickly that was coming up when he told Jenny.
Yeah, I thought it was like weeks in advance, but it was literally like 2 days later.
Right. So he gets to the courthouse, and then they show, that the family dropped the charges. And I think it's because the judge saw all of the other paperwork and the $20K and just everything that went into it and was like, all right, now this is getting greedy. So, no, I'm not going to grant for him to pay you $500 a month, and I'm going to dismiss these charges because there's no evidence and whatever else. I can't remember all that he said, but it was logistics. And so, he goes home to tell Jenny the news or whatever, and she's really happy, obviously. I still, at this point now, again, I already said I don't feel bad for her, but she just gets on my nerves now, even more so. She's
super aggravating because it's like, it doesn't, you should have stayed your ass at home.
Yeah. And he still has $10K left to pay, and that's when the divorce will be final. Now, the problem with her filing those charges against him is that she filed charges against his entire family. And he said, my mother treated her not like a daughter-in-law, but a daughter. He's like, and I feel really bad because my family shouldn't have to be dragged into this. Like, they filed charges against his mother, his father, his brother.
And the brother.
Whoever get their hands on.
But then I'm also like, they knew it was a mistake. Why'd you force him into this arranged marriage?
Right. So then don't feel as bad. But Jenny, right. I don't feel bad for at all.
No, she should have stayed her ass.
I feel bad for.
Yes, but Mama should have stayed her ass here in Palm Springs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have no business going to India when you had your whole life set up here for catfish.
You deserve bad.
You deserve everything that's coming to you.
Oh, Jenny, lonely is a hell of a drug. All right, let's get to the final.
No, we got two
more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's do Braces and Bodega Baby Daddy.
Okay.
So, oh God, this was rough.
So Braces goes down to Florida to visit her daddy, in Orinacia.
And light-skinned Keisha, apparently.
Or Pretty V, whatever you want to call it. So,
Yeah. Rico Nasty, whichever.
Whatever. Her divorce isn't final yet. She says she's going back to kind of waste some more time in because she misses her dad and her dog in Orinacia. And she says she's not going to go back to Jordan until Yazan has a place for them to live and a plane ticket for her to get back.
Yeah.
So, last week Yazan said he found a little apartment or whatever, somewhere to live. We were trying to figure out how when he got fired from his job with his daddy. But he tells us that he gets a job as a cab driver and at a barbershop. And last week I was a little more on Yazan's side. I was like, I understand the stress that he's under and all these things and blah, 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 blah.
I felt bad.
Week, I did. I felt bad, especially when the nigga was like, I can't afford to eat. This week,
all that went out the window.
Yep, because Braces was like, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, her divorce got final though.
Yeah, but not. Well, it ended up getting. It
well, basically, yeah. He was like, "I've changed so much for you, and you've done nothing to change." And she was like, "Hold on there, Holiday."
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
And she was kind of like, "Well, I'm gonna hang up because this ain't gonna work for me."
Yeah.
Like,
she was, and then in the confessional, she was like, "So, I'm not asking that nigga for yachts or bags or money. I'm not asking for all of that. I can have
you're
that.
supposed to provide for me because that's what you said you would do.
Because
you won't allow me to
your country.
And I'm not allowed to work as a woman.
And so, she has made a lot of adjustments. And and further to her point, she goes, I paid for all of my own previous flights to visit him, to move there. I paid for those first apartments or whatever, my hotel room. Like, I funded all of these things, adjusted my life, and moved to where he was at. I just want him to be responsible, and I need him to fly me back as my soon-to-be husband.
Right. That's it.
And he's like, I'm losing everything, Brittany. My whole family hates me. And she's like, fuck all that victim shit, nigga.
Right.
I gave up everything to move here to be with you. So, like, I don't feel bad. I gave up some, you gonna give up some. Like, and honestly, neither one of them are wrong. It's cultural.
It's cultural. So some time has passed. And she goes to the beach with her friend Rico Nasty. And we learned that her divorce got finalized.
Yes, amen.
The judge signed the dotted line and was like, this needed to just hurry up and be done and over with. So she's a free woman.
Free woman.
And so she's telling her friend, like Keisha, like, I've thought a lot about Jordan. And that shit wasn't cool at all. Like, I went through a bunch of unsafe situations, both emotionally and physically, that I don't really necessarily need to be in. And he's giving me a lot for, like, just asking for a little plane ticket.
Yeah.
And a place to provide. And her homegirl was like, nah, girl, fuck him.
Yeah.
And so they get on FaceTime again, and they literally have the exact same argument.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, the problem is he does ping pong back and forth with the stuff that he says. Because at first he's like, you can have everything you want. I want your happiness. Whatever you want is what I want. And, I want you. So, like, whatever adjustments I have to make to have you is what I'm going to do. And she's like, okay, and they seem to be having a pleasant conversation. Then a man walks by and compliments her, and the script flipped immediately. It was like,
Yes.
you out here dressed like this, you know exactly what you need to be doing, but you don't do it, and hangs up the phone on her, and it's confusing because he flip-flops.
Yeah. He's a very jealous man.
And that's what she's explaining to Rico Nasty at the beach. She's like, my concern with him is that he goes back and forth so much that I'm not feeling any stability here.
Right. He's not as independent as from his parents like he says he is.
Mm-mm.
He's just he doesn't really know what he wants.
Mm-mm.
And he's not really for me. So we see in the next episode that she's supposed to go there, and they get into it, and she's like, "Oh, I don't need to go all the way to Jordan if he gonna be on some bullshit." So
pretty much, but we know she goes back because we've seen
Right.
previews.
Because we see that he's about to be extradited.
Child, I'm like, he need to just come on to Florida. You need to just stay put while he comes on to Florida. His sister's there. Shit, what happened with her? How'd she get over to
Right.
Florida?
Right. Listen, make it happen.
Make it last.
So yeah, hopefully, I don't think they make it though. I think they all broke up.
I'm sure. I think they did, based off of what we saw from social media.
Yeah. Okay. So, last but not least.
Woo!
Welcome Christmas, come this way.
Oh God, this saga. I'm gonna call her by her real name in this episode.
Okay.
Because as much as she gets on my nerves,
Mm-hmm.
I felt her this entire episode.
Yeah, I did too.
And I say that as somebody who empathizes, not somebody who understands, but like I get like, bitch, I just had a fucking baby.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, I did.
I had somebody that was emergency ejected from my body.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to recover via surgery. I have not had the best months since I've been here. And I just, fuck everybody. I'm surprised she has not cursed anybody out yet.
I also am very surprised she's not cussed anybody out. I know she's trying to be respectful of their traditions, while also not being respectful of their traditions, but we'll get to that. I did feel her for a good portion of the episode, though. I'm not gonna lie.
So, last week, Mama had the baby,
Mm-hmm.
and all her family was there. All his family was there, like, trying to ask her questions. Are you getting baptized? Are you getting this? Are you getting that? And she's like, I just got out of surgery. Leave me alone.
Literally just got out of surgery. And I understand that super overwhelming feeling as you're getting discharged and it just be you and this nigga. I remember I told you all the first time my mother left and Tristan was at work and it was just me and Noah. And I'm like, oh my
What do I
God,
do with
nigga. Oh my God. Like, it's an overwhelming feeling because in the hospital, you've got the nurses who come in, you form relationships with them. You can see she formed one with her main nurse. She made her feel comfortable and all those things. And then you're pushed out to the real world, and that's when you realize you don't have that same support.
Yeah. And so it's time for her to go home with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a friend to drive them, but there is no car seat available.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, I'll get in the back seat and I'll hold him. And she's like, I do not want the baby in a car without a car seat. You people drive crazy. Well, she didn't say that. But she was like, there's so many dangers. I do not want this baby without a car seat.
Without a car seat.
So their ultimate compromise, or he just, well, no, they're not even compromised.
No.
She made him walk home.
She made
with
him
the
get out
baby.
the car and then walk home. And he was like, I could trip and fall. Something could happen.
It's hot as a bitch outside.
He's like, the weather conditions are not pleasant for a baby. Like, but, you know, I'm not trying to fight with this lady.
Right. So, Daddy walked home with the baby in the hot, blistering sun of Ethiopia. And they get home, and she's trying to relax, and his sisters and you know, high priestesses all come, and they're just like hounding her about baptisms and like, when is the baby going to get baptized? When is the baby get baptized? I don't know. And Ariella just is like, I don't know. I have not even had a chance to breathe.
Right.
Like she's like, I'm bleeding. Like, my stitches haven't even, like, really set in. No. And you're asking me a shit ton of fucking questions that I don't really have the answer to. And you continue to keep pushing this down my throat. I'm going to say no to this shit all together.
Because y'all working my nerves.
Right. So, these old lady priestess come. And they ask her about baptism. And they're like, well, you know, you have to answer to God. And yada, yada, yada. And she was like, listen, baptisms are for people who believe in hell. I don't believe there is a hell.
Mood.
So, like, that convicts, you know, that I don't believe in that. So why would I have my child subjected to that? But since it's such a big deal to this nigga, then I guess fine.
And they finally backed off of her a little bit when she, you know, when she was laying there, like, it's clear she was overwhelmed, it's clear she was tired, and so finally they were like, all right, let her be, she's tired, she needs to rest. But that was after a very daunting conversation in translation back and forth between his sister and his aunts. And that's, oh, we forgot to talk about when they first got home, child, when they slaughtered that sheep.
Oh, yeah. So they were having a welcome home ceremony, you know, for her and the baby, and it's a custom to, you know, sacrifice a sheep.
Yes.
As a, like, good luck, good fortune kind of thing. And, like, Ariella was kind of, like, crying because she was like, no, this is not like, hey, why did the sheep have to die? Now I'm responsible for the dead sheep because y'all were trying to do this for me. So now I have a dead sheep on my damn conscience. And she was like, this is not okay. And mama is postpartum, literally just
I ain't got
her
it
alone.
I ain't got it right now. Y'all got to stop trying to make me have it because I don't.
Right. And so, fast forward, right? It gets time. They talk about the baby's name.
Yes.
Her and Baby Cool. And so they, you know, she wanted to name the child Aviel. And he was like, no. But they've been calling the baby Simba.
Yeah, they got.
So I think they kind of came to a compromise. Like, I'll let your son get baptized if I get to name him Aviel.
Which I think sounds like a very fair compromise, especially if you're coming from two cultural and religious different cultural and different religious backgrounds.
Right. So, the child's name is Aviel. Aviel Binyam. And so, a week has passed, and the child is now able to get a circumcision. Whereas Ariella does not believe in that. But she also understands that in America it's kind of a thing that you got to do, but she believes that it needs to be done by a surgeon because it is surgery.
Yeah, I don't think she doesn't believe in it. I think she wants it done by a surgeon, and she also said she wants the baby.
Oh, no, she does believe in it because she's Jewish.
But she's like, I was like, yeah, they get circumcised. But she was like,
yeah,
I want him to be able to make the choice for himself. with his own body. And I also, first she said she wanted to perform by a surgeon. Then she said she wanted him to be able to make the choice himself. That's why I was
because she turned into that part where she turned into a raging feminist real quick.
And I was like, oh baby.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Points were made.
Points were definitely made, but I was like, this ain't, you came to the wrong, like,
yeah.
Like, I know I'm not moving to Ethiopia because I know how I think and I know it is not aligned.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Why am I going to put them in that position and put myself in that position when we just don't see eye to eye on certain things and I'm not willing to bend
right now?
But see, y'all was so gung-ho to have this damn baby, and they had that loving moment earlier, and he got emotional, and I did feel bad for him in that moment where he was like, my oldest son is 3 right now, and I don't know where he's at, and it's really fucked up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. That man wants to have a relationship with his child. Like, that's real. I hope. Why you do that?
I really feel I hear you, and I hope that he is able to find his other son.
I hope so too. Yeah,
because you could see he's hurting, and he's like walking on eggshells because I know in the back of his mind he's like, she can leave at any moment,
anytime,
and I can't do anything about it.
Nope. Anytime she wants to. So he's literally walking on eggshells. But he also says some things that he can't help but say. Like when he said, she's going to have to learn how to be a good mother, a better mother. I was like,
you can't say that, buddy.
I can see how maybe some like raging feminist white woman who maybe moved over there and had a baby with you and stuff like that was happening. How somebody of that mentality could be like, oh hell no, I got to get out and get far away. But he has a gentle soul. These are things that are like very, very, very much ingrained in him.
But I also think there's a lot of things lost in translation because he's limited in his language.
Absolutely.
English language.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and there's a lot of things they didn't discuss ahead of time before taking this very giant leap. Because if Mama's as much of a feminist as
that I thought she is, then why is she just, Control Alt Delete it? You know what I mean?
I just don't. Not saying I don't want the baby here now.
No, same. I'm glad the child's here, but I'm just saying if you have all these things,
yeah, like you didn't think about none of this beforehand. I know he wasn't, but you didn't think about none of this beforehand. You were so busy trying to prove to your family that you was bad.
Yeah, and like. Yeah, she had she was trying to do so much to prove a point, and it just went too far.
Yeah, so way too far. So they get to so they're there, and the baby gets vaccines, and she's the baby is really upset. Obviously, those are never comfortable, and so not too long after that, the baby's going to get the circumcision, and he's finally at some peace. Like, he stopped crying from the shots and all of that. And she's like, he finally has some peace. I'm not ready to do this. That's a lot of trauma in one day. He's been through a lot in his little body, which I totally feel. I totally understand. That's a lot to put a little tiny baby through all day long. Like, do it another day. So she goes into protective mother mode. Don't touch my baby. I do not want him suffering any more pain. For today, let him be. And the doctor's like, what the fuck? and the nurse is like, what the hell is going on? And Binyam's like, I don't know. I'm confused too. And that's...
Yeah. She snatched that baby up. She was like, nope.
Yeah, she stormed out. And she wasn't comfortable. And this is the first time I've ever seen him like kind of really upset. And he was like, do whatever you want. But it was very much one of those like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And next episode, Mama goes on a raging feminist rant about masculinity
She said she don't care about his toxic masculinity, honey.
Not at all. I was like, ooh, Mama's been reading Refinery. Mama's been reading New York Magazine, The Cut. Shout out to them. They're wonderful people, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, you can check out my new a new story on Refinery 29 where they interviewed me on what I am making on election night in mourning / celebration.
Let's take a break and we'll be back after this.
Bang.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
This is the blackest show about nothing.
This is Jade and XD. I'm Jade.
And I'm XD.
The show is two best friends talking about anything and everything.
And sometimes we have awesome people on, like Crystal and Kid Fury from The Read.
When I was in high school, there was this girl in my computers class with me. I wish I could remember her name so I could apologize. But I just used to call her Atrocious, like, as, you know, a pet name, because... Hey, Atrocious! Being someone who was constantly the butt of a joke or picked on or whatever, I just saw this opportunity to, like, make fun of somebody else, and I did it.
Somebody needs to do a study into silver teeth and the link between, like,
The
silver tooth to prison pipeline.
Yeah. Silver tooth to prison pipeline.
And New York Times bestselling author Michael Arsenault.
And Mama kept trying to interject at any moment that she could sing, and it was like, beloved, you're not even the best singer on stage. The girl from Destiny's Child is with the Platinum Soul album. It's like, not you.
And of course, there's us,
Jade
and XD.
You can listen to new podcast episodes every week on Fridays.
Listen to Jade and XD
for free on Spotify. Oh, and we bike.
And we're back.
So, today, you know, there was a little segment XD and I had back in past back days called Alternative History Facts, in which we get up on these airwaves and lie about how things come to be.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be black history, white history, gay history, we've done it all, honey.
Yeah.
And today we're going to do some alternative spooky history.
Yeah, alternative spooky facts. It is Halloween weekend. We all want you to have a safe and wonderful spooky season. By safe, we mean, you know, make sure you watch your candy and keep your mask on and wash your hands.
Stay the fuck home. I don't even know, like, we trick or treat.
Yeah, you should really stay home.
In the COVIDs, it just doesn't
just
seem like a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea either, but if you're going to go out, at least take precaution.
Okay.
And don't gather in crowds with more than 10 people.
Yeah.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Oh, why don't you start?
Okay. You know, as we do alternative history facts here, that these are real alternative history facts. Don't Google them because they are not real, but they are real in our heads.
Absolutely.
As a disclaimer, it does not make sense, but it makes sense to
us.
Me.
Yes.
But first, I'd like to talk to you all about Maurice Nada Freeman.
Oh.
Maurice Nada Freeman. With a chill snap in the air and the leaves beginning to turn, the whole Johnson plantation knew that Old Hallows Eve was approaching. Maurice knew that Old Hallows Eve scared the dickens out of the Johnson family, as they were very superstitious, and he knew what needed to be done. Nah, I know Johnson. You know Johnson ain't scared of nothing. Mo, they skipped the black off a jab last week down to the white meat. Don't you dare get yourself in harm's way. Morgan Freeman was usually the voice of reason, but Maurice couldn't let this one slide by. "No, Brother Morgan, I got this. They'll never know what hit him, I reckon." Maurice had inside information from Mary, his wife. Well, it was really his friend, who worked in the main house. One night, Mary said that Lady Martha and Big Jim came down with something terrible. They woke up with night terrors and sweats. They both were awakened out of their beds with the threat of ghosts of slaves past haunting them. As a result, they killed Broomhilda, his secret love and house cook, because they thought she had poisoned their sarsaparilla.
She probably did. Her name was Brunhilde.
Yeah, I know. Maurice snuck down and stole a couple of gourds from the farm down yonder. He got the bright idea of carving the face of his lost love in a big, gigantic squash. And before nightfall, he snuck into the sleeping quarters of Lady Martha and Big Jim and placed the carved squash into their room with a lit candle into their room. He sneaked away, ever so quietly. Darkness fell, and it was time for the Johnsons to retire to their sleeping quarters. Jim and Mary had been drinking a couple of sherries, so they were ready to crash for a long night of slumber. All of a sudden, the duo looked to the left to see an image of Broomhilda cast on the bedroom wall. They shrieked and both fainted to the floor. And that was the story of Maurice Not a Freeman, the first nigga to carve a pumpkin.
First of all, your obsession with sarsaparilla, because it's literally in every alternative history.
That's the only thing I know. The only antebellum drink I know.
You're like sarsaparilla. Okay.
I used to watch, my grandmother made me watch Brer Rabbit as a kid, so that's how I know what sarsaparilla is.
Yes. Oh, yes. Back in the deep, deep woods.
Yeah. Racist cartoons for the win.
They was cooking turtles and shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for mine?
Yeah.
All right. The year was 18-something. Early.
Okay.
Sherri, Terri, and Bob of Ireland, like their European counterparts, decided to venture out from their land and see what was going on in the world. If you're trying to figure out why XD is having this visceral reaction, please go back to white history facts. So they
I still have that story here.
I know you do. I know you do. There's only a few of them this time, though. Oh, so like their European counterparts, they decided to venture out from their land and see what else was going on in the world. They traveled for weeks and weeks before they ended up in a town, which is current-day Tuxpan, Veracruz, Mexico.
Ooh.
So they pulled to the shore to find, nothing. And they got out of their boat just in the nick of time, because as they climbed out, it just collapsed to pieces. "The ghetto," shouted Terri. "Well, I guess this is where we explore, but first let's find some beer and haggis," yelled Bob to Sherri and Terri. They grabbed their belongings and thus began the journey of discovery through Mexico. They traveled all through the land, eventually making it to modern-day Monjas, Guatemala. The beautiful mountains immediately drew them to this area, and they decided to stay. They continued to set up shop to live, hoping to find ways to incorporate their Irish culture into this new region. One night, they heard noise and saw smoke. They followed the light and the sounds, only to discover the Garifuna people. They were having a celebration in honor of their ancestors. Sherri, Terri, and Bob were intrigued. They tried to be apart, but the people were like, nah. They couldn't understand each other, but the body language said, nah. We don't know y'all like that, and we damn sure don't trust the white man. Sherri, Terri, and Bob tried to find a way to communicate with the Garifuna people, They killed some goats and made a version of haggis. The Garifuna people chased them away. They boiled and distilled some tree bark to make what we call in modern day Guinness. The Garifuna chased them away. This went on for years, okay? But Sherri, Terri, and Bob didn't get the hint because they just thought the people were scared of them. It didn't compute that we just don't like y'all like that. While Terri, Sherri, and Bob were trying to find ways to connect, the Garifuna people were trying to find ways to get them the fuck ASAP. They made a plan. In the middle of the night, not far from Terri, Sherri, and Bob's home, as they slept, a few of the Garifuna people constructed a house. That's how dope they were. These niggas literally got branches and trees and resources and built a house in the middle of the night. They knew that when the sun arose, that's when the whites would stumble on this house wondering, where did this come from? Because clearly there wasn't that many people around. And that's exactly what happened. Terri, Sherri, and Bob went foraging the next day and discovered the house. They were astonished. Where did it come from? It wasn't where the Garifuna people lived, nor was it their standard structure of how they built their homes. And there was literally nobody else around. Where did this magical house come from? They were perplexed, honey. That night, the Garifuna people tore the home down, leaving no trace that it ever existed. This went on for a solid week before Terri, Sherri, and Bob said, oh, hell no, and got their shit, built a boat, and fled. And that is the history of the first haunted house.
That was very good.
Thank you very much. And if you don't,
Sherri, Terri, and Bob.
That's just for y'all to go do a little research. Go look up who the Garifuna are. They are of the indigenous background, mostly central in Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, a couple other places, but they came from the descendants of the Carib tribe. But yeah, it's a little fake history for y'all.
Sherri, Terri, and Bob. Sherri, Terri, Carrie, Tom, Todd, Kelly, Brady, Grady, and Bob.
I was like, I figured this was an homage to you. You might appreciate that.
Yeah, I was into that. Thank you.
All right, what's your last story?
Okay. Well, I'd like to tell you the story of Agnes Duhaney.
Your names are amazing.
Agnes Duhaney was 9 years, a wee little girl from Dorchester, Massachusetts.
No.
She was a little girl of great mischief. She found herself preferring the company of the boys in the neighborhood, only because they liked to skip rocks, hunt frogs, and put snakes in their mother's shoes.
Oh.
One night, a crisp evening, Agnes snuck down to the kitchen to grab a snack of bread and jam. Agnes always kept something creepy or crawly in her pocket of her dress. The boys around the way taught her that if she stays ready, she wouldn't have to get ready. As she makes her way down the stairs, oh, hi, Nanny Bertina. I was just... Agnes, it is way beyond your bedtime. There is no excuse as to why you little ragamuffin... Wait. Agnes stopped. She knew that she knew that she had a small grass snake in her pocket, and she knew what she could get with it. No, I'm an adult. You wait. No. Wait. Let's play a game. Fine. Trick or treat. Well, it's too late to get anything of a treat, and you are too young to trick me, child. Just then, Agnes threw the snake at Nanny Bertina and snatched the bread and jam from the table. And that's the story of Agnes Duhaney, the first person to trick or treat.
I almost did that, so I'm glad I didn't. Okay. My last story. You might know this young man. Okay. Musa was a young man born in the hood of Mali. He was an imaginative little thing, just an imagination out of this world. A great mind. The people of the land, however, thought he was a few French fries short of a Happy Meal, if you know what I'm saying. Every day, as he would travel miles to bring food and water back to his family, the people of the land would ask him the same question. Musa, what are your dreams? I'm going to be the richest man in the world, he would say, and reply each time with a very serious tone and look on his face. They started asking for their own amusement because Musa's family was poor boots. So they was like, what's up? So they thought it was hilarious. They started asking for his own amusement, and he answered the same thing every time. I'm going to be the richest man in the world. One day, after a long day of sourcing beans and grains for his family, he ran into an old lady named Nakome. He'd never seen her in his life. Hello, Musa. What are your dreams? Even though he was skeptical, because Musa knew all the niggas for miles, okay? He knew everybody around, and he knew he'd never seen this woman. He still answered her with the same response, same tone, same facial expression. I'm going to be the richest man in the world. The old lady disappeared, and Musa, not even shaken, made his way back home. The next day, he went in search for the old lady. She appeared out of nowhere. Come with me, Musa. He knew he should go. They walked for what seemed like hours until they reached a lush area with waterfalls, trees, almost jungle-like. He didn't even know this place existed. The old lady began to throw what looked like herbs and weeds into a pot and mash them up, and add a little bit of this and that, and chanted as she went along. Musa was still unshaken. Drink this, the old lady commanded Musa, and he did, because he knew that he should. You see, he had a gift. Nigga, I am trying to tell a story. He knew he had a gift. And that is the story of the very first witch's brew, and also why when a nigga said he's self-made, just know that he's lying. AKA the story of Masa Musa.
Very good. That was fun.
Just a little spooky time for y'all. A little imagination. Fun. We wrote these stories about 12 minutes, so
yeah.
Maybe we'll do more.
Thank you all for listening. Make sure you listen and see us on Patreon, and continuing to tell everybody that we're on Spotify. Mm-hmm. And we'll catch you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers.